like a mat transporter like in Star Trek.
We gotta visit them one day.
Well, Doctor, it looks like you finally did. On TV, no less. Kind of. Hi, welcome to Culture Filter, the channel where I, Phil, talk about all the geeky pop culture that I like and consume, and I like Doctor Who, and I like Star Trek. I used to talk about Star Trek a lot more on this channel. If you'd like me to talk about it some more, let me know in the comments below. But in the latest episode of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, we got our first ever on-screen crossover with Doctor Who, kind of, in a very blink and you miss it cameo form. In fact, I did miss it. I completely missed it, and it's only because of Twitter posts that I know this happened. In the 6th episode of the 3rd season of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, the latest at the time of recording this, the episode is called The Zealot That Ate Its Tail, and it sees the Enterprise be swallowed by a gigantic scavenging ship, which eats up other ships in order for the crew of this scavenging ship to dismantle the ship, use it for parts. It is a very good episode and harkens back to those sort of classic Trek tropes of having a interesting twist at the end, which I won't give away here, that says something about society. But that aside, let's focus on that premise of big ship eats little ships for salvage, because inside the belly of this ship, as it were, there is the remains of all sorts of Star Trek universe ships. There's Klingon ships, there's unknown ships, there's like debris everywhere, some of it still in more ship form than others. And some very observant people have noticed in the background of the shots, inside that belly of the beast, is a Tardis, which is our first actual, real, on-screen crossover between the two series. Now, as in that clip that I played at the beginning of this video, last year, Doctor Who did come close to referencing Star Trek as a real thing. The Doctor talked about visiting it. But how does that make sense? Because we've seen the future of humanity in the Doctor Who universe many times, and never is it the Federation and what we see in Star Trek. The two don't mesh. Now, this isn't the first time that Star Trek and Doctor Who have crossed over. They've crossed over in other mediums before. The biggest one of those was a comic series called Annihilation Squared, and in that, they are very firmly established as two separate universes, sort of parallel universes to each other, and the Doctor crosses over into the Star Trek universe. And we know from references from like Rose saying,
"Not very Spock, is it? Give me some Spock."
So that Star Trek must exist as a TV programme within the Whoniverse. But maybe the Doctor knows something that we don't. Maybe he knows that it is both a TV show in their universe, but also exists in another universe. Possibly because he's visited in the comics, but even if you don't count the comics, maybe that's just something he knows. Or maybe that line was just referencing, I don't know, visiting the film set. Either way, this new cameo, while I'm sure was just put in there as a fun little nod by the visual effects people, opens possibilities that some kind of universe crossover could potentially happen. And Star Trek and Doctor Who have been collaborating a lot over the last few years. Last year, off the back of Comic-Con, at Comic-Con in 2024, I think it was, they did a joint initiative called Friendship is Universal, launching what they called the inaugural Intergalactic Friendship Day. Inaugural usually means first, and that it plans to carry on, but I did not hear anything about it this July 30th, so maybe that's kind of now dead in the water. Who knows? But they did launch it as this kind of joint thing. All of the press that went through start out via Star Trek social media channels, it went out via Doctor Who channels as well. You've obviously got that comic that I already mentioned, and at the same time as Friendship is Universal was being launched, there was a crossover in the mobile game Lost in Time and whatever the Star Trek equivalent mobile game is, where the Lower Decks cast met the Doctor Who cast and vice versa. So with this, maybe we are edging closer to some kind of more crossover on TV. Wouldn't that be interesting? I don't know if they'll ever do it. Would you want to see it? Let me know in the comments below. I think when I made a video on this Friendship is Universal thing, I asked this question, but I'll ask it again. Which crew would you like to meet the Doctor and Companion? And I would assume it would be whatever the current Doctor and Companion is. If that happened on TV, which crew would you like them to meet? let me know in the comments below. But I just thought it was fun and I wanted to mention it. This isn't the only time that a TARDIS has appeared in various sci-fi things in the background. The visual effects artists have just popped in there in a background of a space scene. Famously, there was a shot of Red Dwarf and the Red Dwarf loading bay when they were flying out of it in Starbug, and you can see a little model TARDIS on the set as well, on the little model set. If anybody knows of any more random cameo appearances of the TARDISes in other franchises, do let me know in the comments below as well. I would love, maybe I could do a whole video on just cameos of the TARDIS places. That would be interesting. Let me know any of you know in the comments below. Thanks for watching this very short video. I just thought it was fun because two of my favourite shows crossing over in a very small cameo way. Before I go, I just want to say I've got a Patreon which I fairly recently launched. If you want to support the channel in any way, I would obviously greatly appreciate it. No pressure, but it is there if you want to. Various tiers with rewards, link in the description below. And for now, why not just check out another one of my videos, which you can do by clicking on screen now.